sure that the thing works. It says it's live. So, Travis, before we get started, which state has the smallest drinks?
The smallest what?
Drinks.
Minnesota.
Minnesota. What's the only thing that grows in Minneapolis?
The
swelling in your head.
Liberals?
Jacked.
Huh?
The swelling in your head from getting jacked. Cheddar jacked cheese. Let me find another one here.
You're in the wrong state.
Minnesota. I don't know. Isn't Minneapolis, Minnesota? Isn't that the cheese? Oh, it's Wisconsin's is a cheese state.
There you go.
Damn it!
I was just like, I was with you on the Minnesota thing, but then
I was making all these cheese jokes. All right, what else do we have?
How is soda cheese?
Well, that one wasn't. That one's just a no-brainer. Minnesota. The cheese.
You made two jokes. One of them was
50%.
cheese. The other one wasn't. You messed up.
50% was cheese. Whatever. I'm done. I'm done trying to tell Minnesota jokes. It's over. Welcome to this week's episode of Two Trolls and a Brew. 133. Travis is going to GP Minneapolis, and subtitled "The Lols Are on Us." There you go. Are you happy? You ruined everything. I just threw.
Yeah, but at least I got my mail in.
Yeah, your mail in. I was born with my mail in.
Oh, what the hell?
What'd you get? What is it? Looked like Magic the Gathering cards.
Oh, no, it is.
Are they not your order?
No, it is. Okay, so I ordered 4 Apex of Powers.
Okay.
And 4 Omniscience.
And you got like 6 Omniscience in there?
Yeah.
Well, that's what they like to call a gift with purchase, my friend.
All right. I need to go check my order to make sure that I'm not wrong, but sure, there we go.
Ordered too many cards.
Like,
wow.
Whatever.
You're going to be supplying us with a really bad deck here in a few days.
Look, it's already basically like I have it all lined up, right? So obviously the 4 Apex of Powers and the 4 Omniscience, and then the 4 Jodas, so that way I can cast them on turn 5. And then what you call it? Basically whatever else I want. Got there.
There you go. You did it. You figured out. You cracked the code that nobody else has been able to crack so far. I'm pretty sure my version of that card actually is just like way different. I'm not sure exactly what it looks like, but I have the feeling it's probably some sort of I don't know. Some sort of like all the Gilded Lotuses deck and something else. And then I don't even know how you win. But I'll figure it out.
Well, I can do Banefire.
Yeah, but you only get 10 mana.
I can do other things.
That's fine. You could if you twin cast into Lava Axe, then you still have 1 extra mana, but because you double the double, right? So you get 4.
Yeah.
So if you Lava Axe, you 20.
Yeah. So like if I do Apex of Power and say they're tapped out or whatever, right? Because that's how Magic players work. Right. They always tap out all the time.
Sometimes you just have to go for it because if they have an answer, you lose anyway.
Right. So I cast Apex of Power, and then I get the 10 mana, and in those 7 cards, obviously there's the twin cast, and there's 2 twin cast, and then the Banefire.
Well, they don't all have to be in your hand. They could also, some could be in your hand.
Right. So yeah, it's like there's 4 of it, and then Banefire for 5, and that's like 20 damage either
Maybe
way.
okay, so maybe my deck is like a cheap goblin deck with Goblin Prospector and the 1/1 goblin, and like I don't know something else. Like maybe it's also Shahele to copy the goblin and makes extra goblins.
Yeah.
So it's just like this mediocre goblin deck, but then surprise, I sacrifice all these goblins, I get a 10 mana, I Apex a power you, and twin cast 5 you.
See, that's all you need to do.
Bam, did it.
Yep,
We'll have to look at it. There might be a deck there, but I think the deck's just not good right now.
Well, that's the point of me playing Magic.
That's true. It's true.
Find the not good decks and make people suffer.
You know what is good right now? Chaos Wand.
Dude, I love that card.
So, unbeknownst to me, I noticed in the show notes here, right as we get started, I made the note under troll cards, Chaos Wand is too good. I could get a text message from Travis. He goes, I updated the title of the show, which I thought that's what you were doing, was the going to the GP. And then and I added a troll card. So I sit down, I call him, blah, blah, blah. We're getting ready to go. And the Chaos Wand is for Travis's troll card too. The thing is really good. People play sorceries and instants in their decks, believe it or not.
Yup. The card is insane. Like, okay, so last week Nathan and I were talking about that stupid sword with the face on it that makes knights when it attacks as being busted. Like, honestly, Chaos Wand isn't as busted as that, but it's still pretty damn good.
That is correct. I think Chaos Wand may be better depending on your deck.
Well, no, not depending on your deck, depending on their deck.
I think it takes both, but we'll get to why I think it's better in my deck in a little bit.
Okay.
But what do you like it for in particular? Are you thinking like sealed, draft, constructed? All the above?
So far I've only played it in sealed and draft.
Okay. So that hits like probably one of their 6 removal spells.
Yep.
If they're heavy on removal. Kills their best creature.
Yeah. So, okay, so we are playing a sealed league right now.
Okay.
And yesterday we were putting some games in during, like, between rounds and everything. And my opponent, he's playing a green-black, like, recursion deck. So he goes to cast that golem, that 7-drop golem that when it enters, destroy a non-land permanent.
Yeah, it's like Meteor Golem or some S.
Yeah, and I Essence Scatter it because I'm playing a control deck in my sealed pool because I hate myself.
Well, if that's what you have, that's what you have.
Yeah. So I cancel it. And then he passes turn because I have 2 3/7s in play. They can't do anything about. And so he passes turn. Then on my turn, I activate my Chaos Wand. And wouldn't you know it, I happen to get a Rise from the Grave.
I hear that's a very good magic card.
So I cast his Rise from the Grave, getting back his creature, killing his 5/5 Vigilant Baloth. And then I was like, well, I attack with my 2 3/7s now that, I can actually get through. Because, they're the Vigilant Knight guys.
Okay.
So I attack with those, and he's like, well, I guess I take 6.
Like the 6 mana white things. Okay.
Yep. And then the next turn, I was like, well, before I attack, I'm going to see what you got. So I activated my Chaos Wand again, got his second Rise from the Grave, getting back his 5/5 Baloth. And he's like, I'm just going to scoop it up. We can call it a game here.
Chaos Wand is very good because especially in limited formats where you're playing like your best 5 or 6 cards.
Yeah.
It just comes out of nowhere and does all sorts of stuff.
Right. And then I did draft it.
It's the number
So
one card that I want to draft, and I haven't been able to do so yet.
it's so good. Like you just draft it and then draft control at that point afterwards. So that way you counter or like remove anything that they get. And then if you can't counter it or remove it, then you get a counter or removal spell from their deck.
See, and I would almost think the exact opposite. Like I think you'd want to be as aggressive as possible, and then just trust that your Chaos Wand will either counter or control anything that's relevant on their side of the field. Like you want to shove them into as many spells as possible.
Well, so for me, what I found out was in the aggressive decks, like the actual aggro decks that's going wide, having a Chaos Wand slows you down.
It can, the turn that you're trying to like steal stuff, but the turn that you need it, it feels like it would be worth having.
Yeah, unless they already have all their spells in their hand.
Which is why, like I said, I'm thinking you want to basically cram as many spells into the deck as possible by you not taking any, you taking just critters.
Yeah. But yeah, so the draft that I used it, my opponent he had this mid-range dragon deck, and basically he was playing all of his creatures, and I wasn't playing any spells because I didn't have any that would stick around. And then I played Chaos Wand, and every time I did it, I ended up killing one of his creatures until finally I was able to activate the Chaos Wand and get an act of treason, and then hit him for the final damage that hadn't been done yet.
So I think that's also a trick that you have to kind of look for, is when to use the wand. Did you see the act of treason already?
Yeah.
Okay, so then it makes a lot of sense to do it like main phase, so you can try to get it.
Yeah, no, it was one of the cards that I saw in a previous game where I didn't get the Chaos Wand because he stole one of my things and swung for game.
I gotcha.
So then the second game, I basically played it out the same, except I used my removal spells more aggressively because I knew he was playing a mid-range deck. So and then I had my little reassembling skeleton and just other 1/1s just coming in like, okay, here comes my bad attack. I hope I don't have any removal spells. And at that point, he knew I had removal spells because, game one. And so he was basically just letting me hit him, right?
Right.
And then, he had this big, I think it was is it a 5/5 with haste? The dragon?
It's a 4/4 flying haste.
4/4? Okay.
For 6.
Either way. Yeah, something like that. Either way, like, I ended up stealing it. Like, I activated Chaos Wand once he was low enough, and it just happened to be the act of treason, and I stole his creature, and then I attacked for game, and he was just like, whoa, crap, I didn't know you had a Chaos Wand.
And you never will until it's too late.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, once you get the Chaos Wand out, if they have good things, then you basically just win because they have good things.
Yeah. So, before I get into my Chaos Wand stuff here, anything else you want to kind of talk about to draft or sealed or whatever else that you may have encountered this week?
So, for sealed, there's really not much you can do. I mean, it's the luck of the bombs in sealed. But as far as draft, so we've had like 4 or 5 draft pods fired just because people really enjoy this draft. And
which I think is just true with core sets, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
People love to draft core sets. The pros hate it, but everybody else loves it.
Yeah. And then the thing that I found out that I really enjoyed is even if you get a bomb rare in like the first pick, if you get like the Goblin Instigator and it's not in your colors, still take the Goblin. It's like, okay, these three uncommons aren't going to help me at all, and they're not going to, like, they don't fit with my rare. And then you have that stupid Goblin or like the Gallant Knight or something that makes a token. Take the tokens. Like, take the token generators.
So you're saying keep people from going wide?
Yep. And then if you go wide, then you go wide. Like, it really screws up how people read the table, but...
So I've been watching a lot of Ben Stark drafting on Channel Fireball's YouTube channel lately.
Sure.
And trying to get a better sense of what because my drafts have been kind of irritating lately. I've been... Basically, I lose in the finals, basically, is what has been happening lately. And to me, it generally feels like that's when my mana screw kicks in, or my cards just... Normally, this is not my deck, but the way it's pairing out and in the finals is how the one way to lose. You know, it's just felt like that really consistently for me lately. So I've been trying to do a lot more research on other drafts and stuff like that to see if I'm doing something wrong in the format. And I keep watching Ben Stark make a lot of the similar decisions that I would make, and then end up doing the exact same thing. Or we would egregiously disagree during the picks, and he would lose in round one. So I haven't figured it out if it's me, if it's what exactly it is there. But I've been trying to do a lot of research. I suggest checking them out if you're interested. And I know you're going to probably end up side eventing 90% of your trip to GP Minneapolis.
Well, it depends if I scrub out or not.
Which,
if I lose 3 games, then yeah, I'll probably go do side events, or I'll just go screw around in Minneapolis because, hey, I'm already there.
Sure. I think what you should definitely do is, I wish I had made you some Two Trolls t-shirts by now. I wish we had figured out a design for the Two Trolls t-shirts so you could wear the Two Trolls t-shirts when you go to these events, because I don't go anywhere. Not currently, anyway. Death to traveling. And I think it'd be good exposure for people to see you there, because I don't think people realize exactly who you are when you go to these things. Sometimes I think you get spotted, but I don't think you get spotted as much as you should. And I would really like you as our troll ambassador to go forth and spread the good word of the podcast. What is down here? Something soft and kind of squishy, hit my foot, but it's the pillow we keep behind the... So for those of you who don't know, right behind my little studio, I keep a little bed, so when my wife is bored, she can come in here and lay down. And then she's next to me when I'm recording and streaming all day long. But she has a little pillow, and it slid off the bed and landed on my foot. Freaked me out. Anyway, my deck for the week. So everyone who's watched this stream for a long time knows I'm a big Conley Woods fan. And Conley Woods has been working on this Paradox Engine deck. And I like where he was going, but I think he's off about 7 cards. So I put together my variation of it, and we have it on the... Let me see if I can get it to come up on the screen for a second. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Here, we'll just do it like this. Boop, boop. All right, so 1 Merchant's Dockhand. That's the... you tap 4, and you tap it, and you tap a bunch of artifacts, and then you look at the top X artifacts, or the top X cards of your deck, draw 1, put the rest on the bottom. So it's kind of like this big, slow card advantage engine. 4 Glentinous Cranes, 2 Clogwork Assemblers, 4 Trophy Mage, 3 Shahili, which I think is the main card that Colleen and I kind of disagree on. 4 Whirs, 2 One with the Machines, a single Fountain of Renewal, which could become a second Merchant's Dockhand. I'm not sure yet. 2 maps, 4 amulets, 1 Azor's Gateway, which could become 2. If I'm being honest, I really like this card in this deck after doing some playtestings. A Chaos Wand, Mirage Mirror, 4 Power Stone Shards, Gilded Lotus, Paradox Engines, and then 20 lands, including 2 Adventurers Fair, 5 islands, a mountain, 4 Spire of Industry, 4 Sulphur Falls, and the Zaffron Void. I think that's how you say it.
Works for me.
Like
That's the Scryland, right?
That's the Scryland. So, in matches against the control deck in the format, basically like the Esper control, with their win conditions being like a couple of Teferis, that new 7/7 Flash Flyer, which is just a piece of S, and I don't even know if there's another win condition in that deck besides that. Besides like 1 or 2 of those. I think I'm like 8-1 in games. And the one game that I lost, it's because I couldn't draw the spell I needed to like get started, to like start chunking through. If you draw like 3 lands in a row at the wrong spot, you just can't win. But if you get to the point where you're ready to start going off and just like make all the mana or whatever, as soon as you start to make that motion, then you need to have at least like 1 not land spell to untap and get going. So that was the game that I lost. Otherwise, it felt completely insane. It's like running out Paradox Engines to let them get countered if they like whatever, who cares, or passing the turn with double whir in your hand, and they're like, bam! I'm gonna. Oh no! What's the fat caster mage? The blue Gear Hulk. There's blue Gear Hulks.
Torrential
Gear Hulk. So it's like I'll fat caster mage to draw cards, and you're like, no, let's Word of Invention instead. A couple of times I Word of Invention for 3 to go get Chaos Wand to find a counter spell off the top of their deck to stop the Gear Hulk. A couple of times I Word obviously for Paradox Engine. A couple of times. I mean, it's just seems really good. So like that matchup feels solid, and then I played a bunch of games with Joe, which is I like Joe. Joe's a good guy, but let's just say not the most competitive tool in the toolbox.
Oh, is that how you justify it?
I don't know. It's weird. Like, he sat down, he's like, my deck's real good. I'm like, all right. Nathan comes by. I'm like, man, this hand's real bad. He looks at me and goes, don't worry about it. So we played a couple of games against Joe, and I did lose a game. He was able to kill my Clockwork Assembler. In the middle, or as right the turn before I was going to go off, like I played it thinking, well, this is just a stupid mill deck. He's playing like a really, really bad mill deck right now. And I'm like, all right, well, whatever. I'll play this guy, so it's out of my hand. It's probably fine. But he's got 5 removal spells, I think. Like 1 Banefire and 4 the Spitfires. He doesn't even have any dragons. He's just like 3 mana to Spitfire. I'm like, why not just play Fight with Fire instead? But okay. That at least does 5, and then sometimes when you flat out can go to the face. So basically I had that other loss. So against Joe, I think I was like 5-1 or 6-1, something like that. Then we switched decks, so he didn't want to cry in his Cheerios super bad. So I went up to 2 Cogwork Assemblers, and I went down I think a Mirage Mirror, just to have a little bit of extra redundancy. But yeah, so far it feels really good. Saheeli feels really good. If you ever like Saheeli, a Gilded Lotus, or a Power Stone Shard to go off, you know what I mean. Or sometimes you just Saheeli a Trophy Mage to get the thing that you need, or even a Crane to like it. It just feels really good, like more than just Scry one. It really, because there's so many things in this deck, it really does feel like it's a draw card spell. So I really liked it. I had 1 5-mana Teferi in this list as well, but I found a Fountain of Renewal finally, and I feel like that's probably better. Like I want more 1-drops, but I'm not sure what to get and where to put them. I could also see moving the Fountain of Renewals to the sideboard and putting a second Azor's Gateway in the main.
You really don't have any real reason for fixing.
I like the one Saheeli seems good. I feel like if I want to, I can, against aggro decks, I can have a bunch of Rafts in the board if I feel like it, or a bunch of like I could go Dragons or whatever in the board and feel like it gives me another way to win. If for some reason Paradox Engine combo is not what I want to do, you know, there's no reason why I can't side into essentially a different kind of deck. You know, Hezarets, I don't know, I'm trying to think what else is like preferably single mana red, but obviously we can do double mana red too pretty easily. With the Renegade Maps, Traveler's Amulets, the Spire of Industry, and the Sulfur Falls. Only one time did I feel like I made a mistake and I drew a Saheeli, because there's only 3 red cards in the deck right now.
Okay.
And we have 5. Sorry, I can't count. We have 9 red sources of lands in the deck, plus 2 Gilded Lotuses and 2 Renegade Maps, 4 Traveler's Amulets. So, like, if I need to, I should be able to get a red source. So, yeah, I don't think fixing is a problem. I also feel like there's pretty much no reason at all that I can't be 5 colors in this deck, even if I needed to. I could be wrong, though.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of, like, any artifact that you don't already have in there that would be good. And I just can't think of anything else.
So there's a couple of things that I'd like to put in the deck, potentially, right? Like, I would like to have... Is it something Gravestone? It's like, I think, a 1-mana artifact.
Silent Gravestone?
Silent Gravestone, where you can't target cards in the graveyard.
Yeah.
I feel like there's enough Scarab Gods that he could be worth having in the deck. I also think like there's enough Planeswalkers that some number of the 2-mana, the Spyglass, just to shut down other people's Planeswalkers would be okay. The big weakness of this deck, or what I feel this deck is going to be the the enchantment-based removal. So like cast outs, Ixalan's bindings, stuff like that, I think is going to be the big problem of the deck. Because I have no way to interact with that.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if I can really have a good way to interact with it. So I guess I can put a bounce permanent in there. That seems bad, though. I don't know. Anyway, I've been having a lot of fun with this variation of the deck. I haven't got to play anything like what I would consider super, super great with it yet. So I haven't played like the overly aggressive deck. Although, no, because I switched decks too when Joe switched decks. I was going to say, I think Joe had a aggressive deck that we played, but I think I switched to that life gain red deck, and those games worked real good. So yeah, I don't know. I'm real happy with this thing. It'd be nice to have one or two more cards to kind of get the chain started, but I'm not sure where to make those kind of sacrifices, really. If there was a 1-mana blue spell that dug 3 cards and you got to put an instant or an artifact or a land into your hand, that would be ideal. Kind of like Oath of Nissa, but for blue. Like something like that would be really solid. But
like an opt or something.
See, I thought about opt really hard instead of like the merchant's dockhand and the fountain of renewal. But again, then you're reducing the amount of artifacts that you can tap when you start to go off that do useful things.
Yeah.
So like Fountain Renewal doesn't have a tapping of power, but if you combine it with Merchant's Dockhand, it's pretty good. Azor's Gateway against Joe, I couldn't win. Like I could just break even. Like I couldn't generate extra mana. But what I was able to do, not really anyway, I could generate like 1 extra mana or something, but I couldn't get the loop going. But against Joe, what I was able to, one of the games, was I was able to Chaos Wand plus Power Shown Stars. Like, I think the problem was I didn't have a Clockwork Assembler to like go infinite and go. Or try to go for that. So what I ended up doing was I was able to activate Azor's Gateway, I think like 7 times in a turn to draw into just like off of his deck with the Chaos Wand. And because if you Chaos Wand, you do cast a spell, so all your stuff untaps with Paradox Engine.
Right.
So I was just able to like, all right, well, I'm going to use 1 mana, Azor's Gateway, try to find something. And then I whiffed. All right, well, let's hide this land under it and let's keep going. So I was very impressed with the singleton of that. I kind of would like to have a second one of those, but I just don't see where you fit it in. Anyway, any other comments about this list? Otherwise, I'm just going to post it.
No, I mean, if it's doing good, then I can't really see anything to change in it.
Well, I was expecting you to be like, there's no... What's that, 11-11 or something?
Oh, the Colossus.
Yeah, I was expecting you to be like, there's no Colossus and Blings or something crazy.
Nah.
Colossus in this deck would be like free most of the time.
Yeah, it would.
All right. Anyway, so I'll get that posted up with this along with the show notes. So the only thing left to really get into, according to my copy of the show notes, is what are you playing at the GP?
Sealed.
Oh, it's a sealed GP? Oh,
yep.
That's dumb.
So day 1 is sealed. And then if you make it to day 2, then it's going to be 8-man pods for the whole day.
Well, that's fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's the only reason I'm going.
I was half hoping that it was some sort of standard constructed so you could have some standard preparation, like competitive prep for your RPTQ.
Nope.
That's still what? A couple of weeks away?
The RPTQ?
Yeah.
That's September 2nd.
Okay. So yeah, you're not too far away. Yes, what, 5 weeks?
Yeah, something like that.
You're still planning on dinos?
Yes.
Okay. Do you feel like dinos is still in the best spot for standard, or is it just because that's the deck you have?
Number 1, it's the best, or it's the only deck I have, and number 2, it's the only one that I actually enjoy, and it just beats up on a lot of things. Like it goes bigger than all the red decks. I played against 2 control decks on Monday, because they moved standard to Monday now. Who's jerks? And so I played 2 control decks, and I beat both of them. And I haven't really found anything that the deck like loses to consistently.
Okay. We'll have to get an updated deck list from you in the next couple of days so we can do some number
I didn't change
crunching.
anything.
Okay, well then I have to go back through the show notes and find it so we can do some number crunching with the new core 19 cards. I feel like
I'm a
might be one
liar.
or
I
two
did
cards.
change some things. In the main board, I didn't change anything.
Okay.
The sideboard, however,
I figure Rex Sages for sure.
no, it's not a dinosaur. I put in 2 Sarkans on ceiling.
Right, we kind of talked about those last week, I think.
Yep. Vivian Reed.
I like a Vivian.
And then 2 Runic Armasaurs.
If the land taps for not mana, it hurts them.
Yeah, well, if an opponent activates an ability of a creature or land that isn't a mana ability, I may draw a card.
Okay. So it kind of hurts them. So if they use Hazoret's ability to get a card out of their hand, you draw a card.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what else is actually. I guess if someone Ronuses.
Yeah. So if they use Ronus, if they use Walking Ballista.
Oh, Walking Ballista is a good one.
If they use Hazoret or the Scarab God or Search for Iskanta / the Bloodfast, the Arguel's Blood thing, the flip side of that.
Right.
Basically, any of the lands that flip over that do things, then I draw a card if they don't use it for mana. The things that have been really oppressive in the standard format for a while, if they use any of those, then I get card advantage. So yeah, the Walking Ballista, the Hazoret, Scarab God, Ronus. What else does things?
That's what I was trying to think of. So in my deck, obviously, there's Clockwork Assembler, but that's like it. Like, I can't think of that many non-come-into-play triggers that like creatures would do that are not mana abilities, because I would be like, well, Llanowar Elf, but that's a mana ability.
Yeah.
I guess if you crew a vehicle, because the vehicle at the time that you're crewing is not a creature, right? So it wouldn't trigger there.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, so it probably won't crew. Like, crewing vehicles don't count, probably. Yeah, weird. I can't think of too many more things then that see play.
Either way, it's the 4 main things, and those 4 main things are pretty important.
Yeah. Well, what about that new flyer? That 2/3 flyer for 4. I guess it's triggered though, right?
What's it do?
I think you pay like a blue and a green, and you give another creature a 1/1 counter and flying.
Yeah, that's a triggered ability.
It's a trigger at combat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I can't think of much.
That card is still busted and limited.
No, it's real good. I haven't got to play with it yet, but I think a lot of these gold cards are going to be, at least for me, at a core 19 cards that I'm going to like pick super high and just move into the deck just to play with them. Normally that's not what I would do, but I feel like I think that's what you have to do for some of these cards. All right, man. Well, I don't have anything else. It's kind of a short show, but we could just do the wrap up and then we can BS.
Yeah, let's do that.
SamusGrobo.com, 2trollsbrew@gmail.com if you'd like to send us an email. Twitch.tv/SamusGrobo for my various video game stream. Now that I have Magic Arena, I'm hoping to start arenaing. Coming up on Thursdays is my hope. Obviously, twitter.com/SamusGarobo, and Travis gave up Twitter. I guess he's just on Instagram now.
Yeah, and I still don't even post anything there.
I don't even have an Instagram account for Travis. I'm an old man. I don't Instagram.
Like, all I do on Instagram is follow. It's gonna be some really great things that you're about to hear. So, webcomics, models,
Weather girls,
huh?
weather girls,
Weather girls.
Mexican weather girls.
Oh no. Yeah. So webcomics, models, cars, tattoos, sports stars, and I think I have a few friends. I don't know.
All I know is I get word from people who know you that we know together or share in common, acquaintances we are in common, that it's the only way now that they know how to get a hold of you is through Instagram. And I'm just like, sucks to suck, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was gonna put you on a mission, and I feel like this is a good end of the show segment here. But last night I had a tough time sleeping. I've had a tough time sleeping really for the last couple of weeks. But last night I couldn't sleep, and all these really bad Magic the Gathering puns started rolling through my head in regards to turning them into little ads for the upcoming PPTQ, right? So it got so bad that I actually got out of bed and I went ahead and I took a picture of a John A from the new John A set. And I went something like, I hope you can John A us for the PPTQ on September 16th at the arena, right? And then I just started thinking about all these other puns that I could do this treatment with. And I was like, all right, well, what if I started a Facebook message thing with like you and Joe and Nathan to help me come up with these things? And then I realized that you uninstalled Messenger, you twat, and I can't even put you in a group chat.
So the thing about Messenger, the last time I deleted Facebook and I left Messenger open, it apparently meant that Facebook didn't delete itself. So I was still getting messages, or I was still getting like notifications from things that people were commenting on, and I'm like, the whole point of me deleting all of this was not to get like all of this information. So
yeah, I understand. I get it. If it wasn't part of my job, I would probably let Facebook go. I would still tweet. I like Twitter a lot. But I feel like Twitter is how I get in touch with people for the stream and the show and stuff like that. But I wouldn't Facebook. It's super aggravating. Not that I don't like seeing other sides or other point of views, but you can't have a discussion about it. Like, I'm right, you're wrong. If you disagree with me, we can't be friends anymore. I'm not at that place. But Twitter seems to be less like that, at least in my experience, although apparently it's a lot more anger-inducing for a lot of people, so I don't know. But in any case, I thought it'd be a good mission for you, because if there's anybody who is honeyer than I am, it's 100% you.
So I know it's not going to make sense to you because you really don't follow sports ball.
That's right. No sports ball here.
One of my friends, he just recently got a ball python, and he named the python Lonzo.
Okay.
He's currently one of like the biggest names in basketball right now, and his name is Lonzo Ball. So he has a Lonzo Ball python.
I see. So What exactly do you do in this python in the sports ball? Do you kick it? Do you throw it?
No, you throw it.
You throw the python? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Like you don't throw it to teammates. You basically throw it to your opponents, and if they get bit, then you win.
I'm suddenly on board with this game. I would watch this sport. No,
It'd be a really interesting sport.
there's a couple of things that I enjoy watching. I don't really follow any sports ball, but there's some things that I used to watch, not religiously, but whenever if I caught a hockey game, I'd watch it.
Yeah.
In the early days of Robot Wars, I would watch it.
I love that show.
So the problem with that show is if you watched one episode, you literally watched every episode.
Yeah.
You could interchange any junk robot with another junk robot.
Mm-hmm.
And like the interviews don't matter. It's just, well, I think we're going to go out there and do really the best we can. And if we can just get under them, and flip them, I think we win the game. So, and then we'll just push them against the wall until it dies. Like that's every interview.
It is.
So like I watched a couple of them for the robot gore, but then I kind of gave that up. I would like to see, like, I like esports though. You know, like I like watching Magic drafts. I like watching Hearthstone. A little less though than Magic because I'm not as up to date. I love watching HOTS. If I played other MOBAs, I'd probably enjoy watching them as well. But for right now, I don't know. I do like esports. I think I read a thing that those are the biggest growing sporting events in the world right now.
Yep.
Pretty soon, like in a generation or two, we may not even have football, basketball, whatever.
I don't think it's going to be that bad because there's still a lot of people who bet on games. There's still a lot of money to be made within the games. It's just people. So the issue right now is simultaneously politically driven and patriotism. So like there's this big thing going on where it's like if you don't stand for the anthem, you hate America, even though, you know, they're doing their own thing. They're kneeling in protest of like racial injustice and all this stuff. And so like people on the far right hate them, but then at the same time there's people on the left who are like, well, I don't care about sports, so it's whatever. And then like the people on the right who are protesting they're protesting the protest. They're like, well, we're not going to watch the games anymore, so your viewership's going down because you have certain players doing this thing that I don't agree with. And I'm just like,
was that even a thing anymore?
Yeah.
Is this controversy not over?
No, it's not because Trump's still president.
Who gives a shit? That doesn't mean a damn thing. But like the football, the NFL, the FNL or the FNL, the NFL, right? They passed their charter thing. You have to stand. You can no longer. You're in violation of the NFL rules code of conduct. And I don't even think I think you missed games. So like this isn't an issue anymore. Like I personally feel like it. If you wanted to kneel, that was fine. Like that to me on the layer of protesting, I thought it was dumb. It didn't make a lot of sense to me that you were disrespecting the flag in that particular way at that level. Like it felt stupid and childish to me, but I got it. And I would much rather you kneel at a football game than like go and burn down a Starbucks.
Exactly.
Right? Like that seemed to be the alternate, but I felt like it was dumb. And if it hurts the company and the company says this is against the rule, and if people start doing it come the new football season, I expect to see a lot of people benched and or contracts removed.
It's possible
because like you said, that is the biggest arm of power here. Like the ratings took a big hit. And I'm not even getting into the political side of it. I just think that And as generations become more and more interested in mental activities and mental sports, like esports and stuff like that, you're going to find people have an interest in physical sports like football, basketball, soccer, etc. In richer countries that can play complicated sports that is equipment and cost driven. So like here in the US, Canada, England, etc., some of these places, you're going to, in China, you're going to see the massive spike in esports, where the rest of the world that still kind of struggles on an economic level will probably continue to play soccer.
Yeah.
Because it takes like a bag of rags to kick around to play soccer.
Yeah, pretty much.
But you see what I mean, though. It's going to phase itself out because people are just not going to be that interested in it. Like you'll probably still have local football doing stuff, but I think the NFL as it is now is already feeling the loss of power, where it was like 10 years ago. And I think some of that at least has to do with the fact that esports are literally watching, like 50 million people are watching esports a year now.
Mm-hmm.
Or 500. What was it? Was it 500 million people maybe? Oh no, there's a 5 and some number of zeros involved in the number of people watching esports a year. And you compare that to like the NFL, who they're the biggest thing on television, and it's like what, maybe 5 to 12 million people watching a game, unless it's the Super Bowl.
Yeah. But I mean, it is like you said, it's like people care more about what's mentally entertaining and what's mentally challenging more than, hey, I can do this thing really well, and that's why I'm paid millions of dollars. Like, okay, congratulations to you. Check this out. I know 8 languages. It's right. Like, it's just people have different interests, and I get it.
I hate how Twitch now. I just was going to go look and see what's going on right now. So, in Magic Land, for example, on the front page of Twitch, they have Gabby Sparks in the #1 slot for channels I may like, with 281 viewers. Right?
Uh-huh.
In the second spot, they have Caleb with 887 viewers.
Uh-huh.
Like, bam, bam, right there in the channels I may like. The #1 game that I may like is Overwatch in this situation. There are 43,000 people watching people play Overwatch right now.
All right, now go look up League of Legends real quick.
Well, that's what I was trying to get to the browse to like show all, but it started auto playing, so then I was just like, stupid thing, go away.
Yeah. So like, I think I'm a Cutie Pie is still a.
How is he still a person?
Like, huh?
I said, how is he a person still?
Or no, maybe it's, yeah, I'm a Cutie Pie. He's still like one of the most popular streamers on League right now.
Yeah, probably. All right, so League of Legends apparently has right around just under 13 million viewers.
Yeah.
No, that's wrong. That's followers. 100,000 viewers currently right now at the time of this recording. And the #1 guy has 28,000, #2 has 17,000, and #3 has 10,000.
Who's #1?
LOL Y Tyler TYLER 1.
Ooh, Tyler 1, yeah. He's very aggressively loud.
It's fine. But anyway, I mean, it's like that though. I think that there's enough people. It's a sport that's always there when you want to watch it. It's always live when you want to watch it.
Yep.
And there's at least some degree of interaction besides just you yelling at the TV by yourself, or something like you can hit the chat room. You could talk to people about whatever. Like, it gives you options, and I feel like this interaction level is going to appeal to people until we have Monster League football. In which case, I will pull out my Sega and I will play Monster League Football all day long. Love that damn game. It's the only football game I played forever. What?
You already can.
I know, I can, but I won't until it's popular.
You can stream it. People will watch you. Like there was one night I turned on Twitch and I was like one of the things that popped up was, oh, here's a speed run of Super Mario World's Nintendo 64. I was like, bet I'll watch that. And then like every time someone completed a round, like they had a big 4-player massive game streaming, right? Or 4-player game stream like between them. And every time someone was like, all right, I just beat this level, I got this star, the other 3 people would have to take a drink. So it was like a power hour / speed run of Mario 64, and it was probably one of the most entertaining things I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, and so I like the idea of doing stuff like that. For example, I kind of want to hook up the old Nintendo 64 to play GoldenEye on the projector now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like the video quality is real bad usually and blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I like the idea of streaming that kind of stuff. And I used to do a vintage night or day every week. Like I went through Shining Force 1 and 2. I started doing Final Fantasy Tactics and a couple of those vintage games. I will probably go back to that at some point. But there's just so many games now that you gotta do a variety. Like I said, we're gonna start working Arena in just to have some Magic streaming again. And I don't think we're so far behind in Magic Arena land that we couldn't catch up.
Yeah, but then also people really don't care about the quality of the game as long as the person playing it's entertaining.
Well, I am an entertaining mother trucker as long as I'm awake.
Well, then play a vintage game. Like,
yeah, I do. DDO is like 12 years old.
That's not vintage.
It's pretty old. Yeah, I do some vintage stuff. I don't know. I have the thing set up. I was going to start playing old Xbox stuff, but the controllers basically have a charge for like 3 minutes now. And we got a bunch of batteries from the arena, but we've never actually tried them. So my tech man, Remington, is not very helpful right now that he's working, wiping old people butt. All right, man. Well, we figured it out. We managed to like spread the time to a full hour. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
I can too. That's what we do. All right. Have a good one. Good luck at the GP. Keep us informed. If you're at the GP and you spot Travis, take a picture and tweet me. I would love to see a wild Travis at the GP having all sorts of good times. Can everyone just come up and rub your beard?
No.
They got to warn you first?
Yeah, or at least acknowledge that I'm there. And then I'll still tell them no.
What if I just went to the GP and surprised you by rubbing your beard when you weren't expecting it?
I mean, it would definitely be surprising, but that doesn't mean I'd like it.
Okay, that's fair. What if I try to rub our beards together at the GP when you weren't expecting it?
See, that would be even worse.
Like mouth-to-mouth beard rubbing.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Troll on, everybody.
Troll on, everybody.